that. It has limited some of our class sizes, but I think we're in good shape. I have a few pictures, images to show you. So this is our daily health screen that we're asking all staff and students
Should I
to
go back?
review to see should they
Yeah, I
come
would.
into
I'd go
school
back and
or
then.
not. Again, if you do have questions, feel free to contact our school nurse or me or our guidance counselors. We can help
Yeah,
you.
it says it's alive there now.
Here's one of our staff members. Hopefully you recognize Mr. Ryan Martin
Hit it.
rocking his Bruins
Yep.
mask. But we do need to have a mask that fully covers
Yeah, so
your,
it's
kind of
showing
your
it
nose,
being.
comes down across your jaw, covers your mouth, fits snugly to your face. So great modeling job by Mr. Martin. Other protocols we're mindful of, we need to keep group sizes limited to 50. Lunch will be split up. We'll use the gym for students that bring their own lunch or cold lunch. And the cafeteria, we'll have hot lunch here. The food services will be providing.
So you're
hot
back
meals.
going to
Because
you
we
still
are
in
in a
your
hybrid
studio?
model with half the
Mhm.
students attending at a time, and we feel we can comfortably see
You wanna go
them
back?
there.
Yeah.
We are still going to continue to have school assemblies, but when school students are, whether they're at school or remotely, we'll do them virtually. I did a few last spring, including parts of graduation, and I think we're able to
Says
pull it
public.
off.
Live now.
To celebrate our students' successes. In between classes, teachers will be cleaning high-touch surfaces like desktops, chair backs, and doorknobs to ensure, again, limiting germ spread. And again, if it happens, a student becomes sick during the school day, they arrive at school and they feel sick. Part of the state's plan recommends you have a separate space close to the door where kids can be quietly pulled off and wait and not be in a situation where they're still interacting with lots of other people. We use, if we've been into our new building where our credit union snack shack space is, we're kind of shutting those operations down and leaving that.
Things looks good there. I love the
And
air.
finally, just continue to listen for updates and adjustments. I think we've all learned that sometimes things change and we need to be ready to act and move forward. And so I'll continue to communicate with you via automated calls, email, notifications. So stay tuned. So I wanted to share some of the classroom photos. So these are pictures of classrooms. You can see teachers have spaced things out. We're really fortunate in this new building. So you'll notice if you look at this science classroom, you
Okay,
see the
then
two
you
vents.
gotta hit this thing down
We
here.
have great air handling in this new building, so there's great ventilation that will keep the fresh air
Yeah, click on
flowing
uploads.
in these classrooms.
And then hit this
So
little drop
where we
down.
have windows, we
And
will
choose
open the
live now.
classroom.
People gotta be able to know.
I think-
People know that.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, so we're good to go? Okay.
So live, Maddie?
I think so.
Okay, well, I hope people out there can see me. I hope this is working. It's uncharted waters for us, doing some of these events virtually. We've put together a great program, and let me introduce myself. My name's Mary Netto, and I'm very proud to be the principal here at Nokomis Regional High. And it's normally a time of year we do our open house, so I wanted to make sure we gave everyone this opportunity. So we've got a cool program put together to you tonight. It's going to start out with a quick video tour of the building, and this was filmed, edited, produced by two recent Warrior alums, Ethan Richards and Riley Bridges. It's a really slick minute-and-a-half video that hit the highlights of our brand new building, and don't worry, we haven't forgotten. We still want to do a public open house, a real open house for people to visit, and as soon as it's safe enough to do that, we'll do that. And following that short video will be a PowerPoint presentation that I have that I've narrated over. It's pre-recorded, so I'm not going to be able to stop and answer your questions during that. It's about a half hour, and I've tried to cover many of the questions that you have related to pandemic, but also it's time to come back to school, just some general back to school information for everybody. And after that presentation is finished, I'm going to come back live and answer any of your questions. And I believe as you're watching on the YouTube channel, there's a chat box. Go ahead and type your questions in. If they come up while you're watching the video, type those questions up. And when it's concluded and I come back live, I'm going to be happy to answer all of your questions. So enjoy the video and take some notes on the presentation. I'll be back in a minute for questions.
Oh, another staff member. Hopefully you recognize Mr. Elias, one of our social studies teachers. Going with the gray ensemble today. And so here's that A-Day, B-Day calendar that I talked about. You should have received in the mail. The highlighted gray days are A-Days, and we just alternate A-Day, B-Day, A-Day, B-Day. This calendar has helped us stay in sync with Tri-County Technical Center. I'm going to break it down a little bit for you week by week. I know I've had a few questions on this, so let's just take a look at September. The first day of school is an A-Day, and group 1 and 2 will attend Monday and Tuesdays in person. Group 2 will attend Thursday and Friday in person. So kind of just look at 1 week to help people understand this. So Tuesday, on that first day of school, it's an A-Day. If you're in group 1, you'll attend in person. If you're in group 2, you'll attend remotely. If you are scheduled to go to Tri-County on an A-Day, you're going to Tri-County. Wednesday will be a remote support day for everyone. I do have a calendar or schedule we'll provide to students where each content area will be available at a time during the day for students to get support from those teachers. And we will have an online advisory period. On Thursdays, it is again an A-Day, but this time group 2 will come in person and group 1 will stay at home. Tri-County will attend every day in person in Dexter. So if you have Tri-County on an A-Day, you are going in 2021 school year. First off, let's just get to some basics. The first day of school is this coming Tuesday, September 8th, and it's for all students. There's no individual day for ninth graders. We're starting with everybody, September 8th. I have emailed or will be emailing all students a map of the building, a floor map, particularly for freshmen, so they get familiar with our side of the building. It's a very similar footprint as the middle school side, so hopefully no one will get lost in our building. Our key to success this year is everybody having their technology ready and charged. So as you think about getting ready for school, make it part of your routine each evening before you go to bed to make sure your laptop is charged. Before you head out the door for the day, you have it ready. Our students that attend Tri-County Technical Center in Dexter, those students will be attending in person every day it's scheduled. So if they have an A-Day for Tri-County, they'll go every day. And I'll go over this a little bit more later. Remember to get those back to school forms turned in. As students come back into the building, we will have those typical forms people fill out, lunch forms, permission slip forms. It's really vital that we get those papers turned back in. For students joining remotely, we will have a day next week where people can come and pick up items they need for school, whether it's textbooks, a hotspot, back to school forms. We'll identify a day where you can pick that all up. Don't forget, everyone does need to wear a face mask, and I have some of our staff modeling for us in this presentation. Maybe you'll be able to identify some of our teachers. Communication is key. Please communicate with us either by calling the school or via email. Staff email lists are posted on our website. I'd encourage people to use those mediums. Although I do use social media to push out events about school, that's typically not the way we communicate daily with parents and students. So please use phone or email. And at this point, we're trying to keep the building limited to staff and students only, so we won't be hosting any in-person meetings or welcoming in guests or visitors. Additionally, it's really important we have your correct address, phone, and email. For example, last week I sent out a robocall and we mailed home a letter. If you didn't receive either of those, then you may want to go ahead and give us a call to update your information. And please encourage your student to check their school email every day. Teachers are sending out Google Classroom invites. I use it to send out messages to everybody, particularly now that we're not all in the building at the same time. It's going to be our main means of communicating regularly. Students should bring their own water bottle. What's great in this new building is we do have water bottle filling stations along with our water fountains, but we, for safety reasons, don't want students using just the water fountain to get a drink. Please have them get their own water bottle. As you arrive on buses or make your way to classrooms, please expect to have assigned seating. And again, that's part of our safety protocols to really limit who's interacting with who and our ability to just track that. So again, we'd ask for everybody's patience with that. And same with buses. Buses will need to have that same structure, kind of a set assigned seat and a set number of people on the bus. So typically, it's not uncommon for high school students to maybe want to go home with a friend for a visit, but we're not going to be able to do that, at least in the beginning part of the year, as we sort out transportation. So please work with us on that. Students are going to have their one mode of transportation on the bus, and we're going to have to stick with that. We're also encouraging students to bring headphones. We will have some earbuds we can provide students, but as we teach remotely and in person at the same time, sometimes that can be distracting. It's really helpful to be able to put the headphones on and listen to the teacher or classmates as they're talking. And lastly, we have collected some school supplies that all students will need, and we're going to have a burgundy cinch sack bag filled with a few pencils, pens, just those day-to-day items students might need in a class. So everyone has their own set. You know, usually the teacher has a cup with pens or pencils or highlighters students can borrow. And for safety reasons, we don't want students sharing those items, and we want to be sure everybody has their own set. So we'll provide those to students as they arrive at school. Okay, so what's new? You know, I never thought last year, I really thought last year the most exciting thing that would happen in our school year was moving into a new building. Who knew we would get upstaged by a pandemic? You know, so we really only had a few weeks, a couple of months working out of this building. So it still feels very new to us, and we're excited to share it with our students. Obviously, we have some health safety precautions like daily screening, social distancing, and face masks, and I'll talk about that a little more. And again, some of our staff members will join in this presentation. As a school, we're interested, and we learned this more than ever, how important our community is to us last spring, but we want to continue to deepen our partnerships and connections to the community. One partnership, great partnership that we've had for a number of years, we're taking it to a new level, is with Hometown Health. Hometown Health will be functioning or operating a school-based clinic right out of Nokomis a few days a week. More information to come on that, but a fantastic opportunity for our students and staff to access quality health care. And we want to capitalize on opportunities to learn beyond the school walls. It's an initiative we've had for a few years, but we're interested in our students participating in internships, in real-world, authentic learning opportunities. So again, look for your students to be doing some creative and innovative activities. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of those safety protocols. And again, we know this is a fluid situation and sometimes things change, but our goal is to keep everybody safe and to keep this path to returning to in-person school is important to us. So we ask that everybody works with us on this. So number one, there is a daily health screen, and I'll show that form in a minute. We're asking everybody to review that every day with their child. And if your student is sick or has some of those symptoms, we really want you to stay home. The great thing is students will be able to jump in remotely if they're at home, maybe sick, you know, and shouldn't be at school, but still well enough to engage in school. They can keep up with their work remotely. Again, communication is going to be key. Please let us know if our student or anyone in the immediate family and the immediate household has had COVID-related health issues. We definitely want to identify things early and quickly and stay on top of it. Face masks are required at school, on school grounds, even outside, on buses. We are going to schedule breaks each period. We are going to try to capitalize on students being outside where there are opportunities for for mask breaks, but a face mask, not a face shield. And again, we're following our state guidelines. In a few instances, students can wear shields if they have a medical reason or if it's a result of an IEP meeting. But generally, everyone should be wearing face masks, and we encourage students to have some fashionable, school-appropriate fun with masks. I know I'm looking forward to rocking some new masks. Maintain social distancing, you know, and a good way to think of that, 6 feet between you and someone else is a little bit beyond what your arm extended would be. It's difficult. We're human beings. We like that closeness, particularly when we're communicating with someone, but we really are asking for your support, students and parents, to help us keep that distance so we can stay healthy and continue coming to school in person. We will have some traffic flow patterns in the school with some arrows and signs to, again, minimize that back and forth action. Teachers have adjusted their classrooms for social distancing. They've pulled out the tape measures and measured to make sure we're within that 3 to 6 foot range. And because of that, it has limited some of our class sizes. But I think we're in good shape. I have a few pictures, images to show you. So this is our daily health screen that we're asking all staff and students to review to see should they be coming to school or not. Again, if you do have questions, feel free to contact our school nurse or me or our guidance counselors. We can help you with this. Here's one of our staff members. Hopefully you recognize Mr. Ryan Martin rocking his Bruins mask. But we do need to have a mask that, fully covers your nose, comes down across your jaw, covers your mouth, fits snugly to your face. So great modeling job by Mr. Martin. Other protocols we're mindful of, we need to keep group sizes limited to 50. Lunch will be split up. We'll use the gym for students that bring their own lunch or cold lunch. And the cafeteria will have hot lunch in. Food services will be providing a hot meal. Because we are in a hybrid model with half the students attending at a time, we feel we can comfortably seat people in there. We are still going to continue to have school assemblies, but when school students are, whether they're at school or remotely, we'll do them virtually. I did a few last spring, including parts of graduation, and I think we're able to pull it off. We definitely want to continue to celebrate our students' successes. In between classes, teachers will be cleaning high-touch surfaces like desktops, chair backs, and doorknobs to ensure, again, limiting germ spread. And again, if it happens, a student becomes sick during the school day, they arrive at school and they feel sick. Part of the state's plan recommends you have a separate space close to the door where kids can be kind of quietly pulled off and wait and not be in a situation where they're still interacting with lots of other people. We'll use, if you've been into our new building where our credit union snack shack space is, we're kind of shutting those operations down and leaving that for the weight room. And I think finally, just continue to listen for updates and adjustments. I think we've all learned that sometimes things change and we need to be ready to act and move forward. And so I'll continue to communicate with you via automated calls and email notifications. So stay tuned. So I wanted to share some of the classroom photos. So these are pictures of classrooms. You can see teachers have spaced things out. We're really fortunate in this new building. So you'll notice if you look at this science classroom, you'll see the two vents at the top of the room. We have great air handling in this new building. So there's great ventilation that will keep the fresh air flowing in these classrooms. So where we have windows, we will open windows, weather permitting. So again, lots of space to keep that 6 foot distance. And again, another one of our staff members rocking the mask. Hopefully you recognize Mrs. Guy Lombardo. And so let's talk about some things that really just aren't pandemic related, but are just what's a typical high school day look like. We will still be using an alternating day schedule with A and B days. Our class periods are normally 75 minutes long. I think we've trimmed them a little bit to accommodate for some transportation schedule shifts. But A and B days will alternate like they normally do. Mailed home in your packets, when your schedules came, did have that calendar on the back. And it doesn't impact whether you're Group 1 or Group 2 or whether you go to Tri-County. We stick with the A-day, B-day schedule. Advisory. When students enter as a freshman, they're assigned an advisor that stays with them all year long. Similar to a homeroom teacher, but they really get invested in the students, and seeing advisories really build just a great climate and culture where they support each other. We will continue to have 4 lunch periods. It's very similar. Those of you that were in our 8th grade saw us having lunch too. We're in proximity to each other, so it's quite similar. I think the nice thing that happens when you move from middle school to high school is that there's more choice in courses. You have an opportunity to take some electives, take different classes that have students in different grades. We are going to continue to do that. Some of our classes might look a little different because of safety precaution limitations, but we're moving forward and continuing to have them. And again, that advisory time that we offer each day is an opportunity to check in with that kind of one person, one mentor that we want to make sure every student has. Just monitor your own progress, set some goals, identify some areas you might need help in. Oh, another staff member. Hopefully you recognize Mr. Elias, one of our social studies teachers, going with the gray ensemble today. And so here's that A-Day, B-Day calendar that I talked about. You should have received in the mail. The highlighted gray days are A days, and we just alternate A-Day, B-Day, A-Day, B-Day. This calendar has helped us stay in sync with Tri-County Technical Center. I'm going to break it down a little bit for you week by week. I know I've had a few questions on this, so let's just take a look at September. The first day of school is an A-Day. And group 1 and 2 will attend Monday and Tuesdays in person. Group 2 will attend Thursday and Friday in person. So kind of just look at 1 week to help people understand this. So Tuesday, on that first day of school, it's an A-Day. If you're in group 1, you'll attend in person. If you're in group 2, you'll attend remotely. If you are scheduled to go to Tri-County on an A-Day, you're going to Tri-County. Wednesday will be a remote support day for everyone. I do have a calendar or schedule we'll provide to students where each content area will be available at a time during the day for students to get support from those teachers. And we will have an online advisory period. On Thursdays, it is again an A-Day, but this time group 2 will come in person and group 1 will stay at home. Tri-County will attend every day in person in Dexter. So if you have Tri-County on an A-Day, you are going in person again. And finally, we'll get our first B-Day in. Again, it's Friday, so it's group 2 in person and group 1 remotely. So hopefully you're staying with me. I'll take it to the next week of school, the first 5-day week of school. Monday is an A-Day. So again, group 1 comes Monday and Tuesday in person. So it'll be an A-Day. Group 2 will be remote. Tuesday's a B-Day. Group 1 is in person. Group 2 is remote. And on this B-Day, again, if you are scheduled for Tri-County, just like on the A-Day, if Tri-County's on your B-Day, you attend every B-Day. Now, what I didn't put on my display here, which I should have, Wednesday is an A-Day. And so if you have Tri-County, the buses are going to pick you up, and on Wednesdays, Tri-County students are going to go to school. Thursday's an A-Day again, group 2 in person, group 1 remote. Friday's a B-Day, group 2 in person, group 1 remote. And again, no matter if you're in group 1 or 2, the day you have Tri-County, you will go to Dexter in person every day. The Tech Center has enough space. Their student population isn't as large as ours, so they have enough space to safely fit all their students. So let's take a look at a sample 9th grade schedule. So we have 4 academic periods during the day and then an advisory period. So on the A-Day, for this student, they start with jazz choir. Mr. Neal is their teacher, and the room is H137. Period 2 is Algebra 1 with Mr. Walton in room H167. Period 3 is the period we have lunches. So at some point during period 3, students in this class will go to lunch. Ms. Furberg's the teacher, and it's in room H203. Period 4 is physical science in room 011 with Ms. Martin. And the advisor the student has is Mr. Middleswart in room H236. And then same format, but the B-Day, the classes the student will have will be Honors English, then Spanish 1, then Intro to Video Communication. And then first semester, they have physical education, and then their advisory period. So take a quick look at a 10th grade schedule. Again, regardless of which grade students are in, the format for schedules is very similar. On this A-Day, the student has JROTC, AP World History. In your schedules that were mailed home, if you see no scheduled course, that's a spot we will drop study halls in. We wait until the last minute to do that, just to accommodate for any schedule changes, so we're not shuffling too much. And then they finish period 4 with Honors Geometry. Then on the B-Day, Spanish 2, Honors English 10, Honors Algebra 2, Honors Lab Bio, and advisory to end the day. So let's look at a sample Tri-County schedule. If you have a student that attends Tri-County, their A day will be completely filled with Tri-County. They leave in the morning, stay all day, come back in time in the afternoon for the buses. On the B day, they'll have their traditional Nokomis classes. So on the B day, the student will have English 11, Algebra 2, Contemporary America, Lab Chemistry, and then they'll meet with their advisor. So our daily schedule, the morning drop-off, we're asking for parents to not drop off before 7:45, and you need to be here by 8:10. We are still going to use our side parking lot for the drop-off area. And we have our class periods. Again, we've trimmed them a couple of minutes. I think they're 73 minutes. Lunch period, we'll have our 4 lunch sessions, period 4. Our advisory, and then our end of the day, we'll start dismissing during advisory. We're going to look a lot like an elementary school dismissal this year. And again, that's to minimize the volume of students moving at one time in the building or bottlenecking in a particular area to make sure everybody's safe. So we'll dismiss students by town to their buses starting at 2 o'clock. Again, it needs to be a bit earlier as buses are having to do additional runs. So they need to get out of here a little bit earlier so we're not getting students home too late. Any students that drive to school will be dismissed next. We'll ask them to head out to their car. And then any students who are being picked up by someone, we'll dismiss those students at 2:20. And again, parents can pick their child up out in the side parking lot. So we've got Miss Flannery helping us out, modeling her mask. So again, just some quick visuals. This is the front of our building, again, where buses only come in and would ask students to enter into the front entrance. Our side parking lot, the entryway, if you've not made your way to this parking lot, is right across from the old Nokomis entryway. And then students can enter if they drive or dropped off on the side entrance. And students that are dropped off by the bus can be come in right through the front entrance. So again, to review a couple things with our hybrid schedule, students have been divided into 2 groups. That first group is from last names A to Kenny, will come in person Monday and Tuesday, and group 2 is King to last names through Z. If you are attending Tri-County, you are going to go in person every day. It's on your schedule, and that includes Wednesdays. All other students are going to use Wednesday for remote support. We're going to use that A day, B day calendar. And we will keep all those classes running, like gym classes, music classes, JROTC, theater classes. They're all running. Again, teachers are going to be creative with doing some different activities to make sure students are safe, but still engage with their activities. If you have opted to go remote only, we are asking you to commit to at least 4 weeks. As you can imagine, there's a lot of moving parts for teachers, and it's going to be difficult for us to jump back and forth. But if you are interested in making a change, let me know. If we can accommodate you to do it quicker, we absolutely will. So let's talk about remote learning. If you're going remote only, you'll follow the same schedule that in-person students do. You'll just join the classes virtually. We'll start the year with students who are attending in person. Obviously, they'll be in person, but on their non-in-person day, they will join remotely too at the same time synchronously. And that's a little bit different than what I put in my letter I mailed home. And getting some feedback from parents and talking more with our staff, we want to make sure we're providing the most support we can for our students early in the year with good structures. So when you're in person, you'll be in your classes, and the day you're at home, the non-in-person day, it'll be just like you're going to school. You'll log in online to those classes. Teachers are sending out Google Classroom invites. So students should be checking their emails to sign in and test their tech to make sure they're comfortable with getting online. And I think we all know technology is great when it works. Let's just say it, it's going to happen. We're going to have some tech glitches. So, be prepared, be patient. If it's a device issue, email tech@rsu19.net, and we'll help you as quick as we can. I think we really want students to be mindful of their online presence and some etiquette. We want them to pretend like they're right in school in person and behave the same way. And it counts. We adjusted our grading procedures in the spring to be a little gentler for everybody. We knew our world turned on its head, but it's time to get back to business. And We want our students getting back into good routines. Your academic work is going to be graded, collected, and assessed. So let's get ready to crank it up, Warriors. And there we go. We've got Miss Purnell rocking a chemistry-themed mask, and she's got her safety goggles on. So to support our instruction, we know we needed to have kind of some new guidelines to get everybody on the same page. So again, be prepared. When you're at home, make sure you're getting up on time, your devices are charged, and you have a good workspace ready, that you have what you need. Miss Martin has got her cow-themed mask ready for us. Again, school rules count. Whether you're at home or at school, you're remote, in person, it matters. Again, think about your backdrop. I know it's been interesting to get a peek in everybody's house, or sometimes people are walking behind you. So think about when you're at home working virtually, what's your setting going to be? And we are asking that you turn your camera on. The teachers need to see you to make sure you're engaged, and if you need help, they can recognize it and access you. But we're also building lessons to have students engage in a lot of student-to-student collaboration. So we want to replicate that in-person feel as best we can. And again, manage your other technologies. You shouldn't be texting or on your cell phone, or jamming a lot of music so it's a distraction to other students in the class. Chat responsibly. We know one of the tools that we will use when we're using Google Meets is a chat box. We're actually going to use students to help with that. So students at home, if they have a question, it's not as easy to physically raise your hand or be noticed, but we're going to use the chat box. Again, we want you to showcase your good writing skills. We're not sending a text message to our buddies. So let's use school appropriate language and words. And we ask you mute yourself when you're not talking, just to eliminate background and feedback noise. But also, we've all learned, hey, you're muted. Be ready to unmute yourself when it's time for you to share. Miss Wells, rocking the USA face mask. And we want you to participate. We're all a little bit rusty from school, so it's time to get at it. So let's get our game face and our school, it's kind of school mode going. And we've always enjoyed great support among Warriors. Remember, we're all in this together. Make sure you're listening and you're being open to other viewpoints. You're asking questions, sharing your thinking, and just participating. All we ask is that you give your best effort, give 100%. You don't need to know it all. That's the beauty of learning. You don't know it all. That's why we're doing, you're in classes to learn and develop new skills and think about new ideas. So get ready to get back in the game. Some roles that we've identified. Obviously, the teacher will be in the room, assuming that facilitator role. They're going to be responsible for teaching in person and streaming out their classroom. At the end of the class, they will post notes in Google Classroom, get your feedback on any exit slips to make adjustments to the lessons. We're asking that one student, jumped ahead to Mr. Lever, manages the chat box. So if students at home need to ask a question, someone will be doing that. We'll have note takers taking notes to help other people, and we'll have some tech assistance where needed. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and we feel blessed to have older students who have great tech skills and a maturity and responsibility level that they can really support what's happening in the classroom. And there's Mr. Lever. He told me he'd been working all summer on that wonderful mustache. So I'll talk quickly about grading. We are returning to our typical grading. We do use a letter grading system, but underneath it, we are assessing based on our graduation standards. So we are standards-based, but we do still use a letter grade for term grades. We separate academic work from behaviors. We're not included in a student's grade as what they know and can do on that content. It's not about, did you cover your book or class participation? We score those differently under habits of work. We also use summative and formative assessments. We want to separate out where you're practicing with a formative assessment and then that performance or final piece, a more formal assessment with a summative assessment. We hope to provide you with a little more detail, but we still want to keep our transcripts and report cards understandable. Bottom line is we want to see quality work. It's not just a matter of checking the box and getting it in. We want to know what you're learning. We want to know what you're thinking. And we want you to have success. And you do need to have success. That goal is to get you to graduation. So you've got to pass your classes and earn those credits. Just quickly, some diploma basics. A couple of years ago, we did up our requirements. So now every year of high school, students need to take an English, math, and science course or be engaged or some content-based experience. 3 years of social studies, 4 semesters, so each year a career development semester. You need to have 2 years of a world language, 1 of PE and fine arts, and a semester of health. Other requirements, 20 hours of community service, and we view that as a bare minimum. We only count that in that final year of high school. And so many of our students over the time in high school graduate with hundreds of community service hours. You will do a senior capstone project presentation, have to take our state assessment. It's been the SAT. I think there's some talk about what that'll be next. You have to meet our guiding principles. And I think most importantly, we want you to learn and grow a lot. Just a quick look at a sample report card. So you can see it'll list the course. If there was a final exam that happened, or a midterm exam, that'll be listed, a quarter grade, a semester grade. You can see that individual indicators are listed to see what score they had, and then the habits of work scores. So a sample report card. Everybody knows Mrs. Neal, our theater arts teachers, and I love as we all kind of maybe moan and groan about wearing masks, the actors have been doing it since 500 BC. So my best advice as you think about returning to school is take pride in yourself, your work. What you do represents you, and take a lot of pride in that. It's okay to embrace the struggle, even in good times. I actually have this bullet that I've used for many years. I think part of learning is not getting it right the first time. Like, this isn't about perfection. This is about experimenting, trying things, reworking things, and having some grit to stay with it till you get where you want to be. Get involved. We have many clubs, teams, groups, and I know there are still questions about athletics, but I have asked all of our coaches, advisors, clubs, groups to continue to hold their groups, and we will do our best and do as much as we can within the safety guidelines to make those things happen. Get organized. There's a lot of moving parts to high school, so get a system down. Use a Google Calendar, get a binder, have a day planner, but get organized. Go for it. Just go for it. Give it a chance. This is a time for you to try some new things and have experiences and make memories. The technology we definitely learned last spring. We got to figure it out. It's a part of our world. It's part of our life. It's not the be all and end all to learning, but it's an important tool. You need to be safe with it, and you need to understand how to use it. And finally, don't be shy about talking to adults. You're now older. You're not a little kid anymore. You're young adults as high school students, and we're here to support you and help you. And we want to learn about you and talk to you, but you got to be comfortable sometimes speaking up and asking for help, or just chat us up. We want to get to know you. And I'll ask you all, I'll give you a homework assignment over the next few days before you come to school. What would you tell yourself, from 1 year ago? So if you think about where you were 1 year ago and knowing what you know now, what would you tell your today self? I can tell you what students have told me in the past when they've reflected back on their high school experience. The biggest thing they said is join clubs, because you make new friends. You sometimes discover some hidden talents or discover new ones, a new passion. Maybe it's not a job you're going to do in the future, but it's an activity you're going to use in your lifetime. It definitely helps you find your path for after high school. Find some balance, but put yourself out there. You can't do and be it all. There are only so many hours in the day, but it's also okay to take some risks. There's a temptation sometimes in high school to be too focused on their social life. And it is important to have a good social life, but it's not the only thing. And speaking of not the only thing, sports are a wonderful extracurricular activity, but they're not the only one that's valued here at Nokomis. There are many, many different clubs, groups, and teams. And make connections with teachers. They're here to support you and mentor you, so get to know them. And then, what would you fill that in? I only wish I had blank sooner. As you think about your middle school experiences, what maybe do you wish you would have done? Well, now's your chance. Do it now. Mr. LaPrade rocking the Harley mask. I think his mom made it for him. And lastly, take pride in being a Nokomis warrior. I am tremendously proud to be part of this school district and this community. I've been here many, many years, and what I've learned is that our students are really great people. They're great friends, they're good citizens who care about their community, and they're really hard workers. And I want you to be proud of that because you're a warrior. You're a warrior. And lastly, I'll leave this slide up there, but get in touch with us. If you need to contact us, again, while things are a little bit more remote. Now you can see I didn't update Mr. Henry's email address. It should be ahenry@rsu19. And for those of you that recognize Mrs. Kent, yes, Mrs. Kent moved back to home state in New York, but we're happy to have Mr. Henry on board with us. He has the first part of the alphabet, Miss Babin in the middle, and Miss Sierra has the end of the alphabet. Miss Hale in guides is always helpful. If you have any questions about athletics, Mr. Babin is our athletic director. Check out our website, and don't forget, 368-4354 is how you can reach us by phone. So I hope this information has been helpful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody back at school in the upcoming days. And I'm going to close it out, and I hope you all practice saying this loudly and proudly. Go Warriors!
Okay.
Well, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I know that was an awful lot of information, and I hope it helped out with some of the questions that you have. And at this time, I'll take a few minutes to stay online. I've got the help of our tech gurus, Mr. Josh Grant, Mr. Matt Brown, helping me out. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and chat, type them in the chat box. I've been putting some in. Chris Roy, really? Come on now. Don't jump in on that foolishness. That's the sort of online etiquette we're looking for. This is a way we need to work and communicate. So hopefully it'll work out. And as you can see, sometimes, you get some tech glitches. I will repost the video with the slideshow. I know some of the slide got cut off as it transferred out to the YouTube channel, but I think my narration covered the information on the slide. So again, if anybody's got any questions, we're doing a lot more work with project-based, and sometimes people confuse that. Sorry, we're in the evening here, and if there's no motion, the lights go off. Kind of a cool feature in the new building, having some automatic lights, and you get a little movement. So Mr. Brown helping me out. So we're back in the light. But that video that Riley and Ethan did at the beginning, that's a great example of the kind of project we're talking about. Sometimes project-based education gets a bad rap because people confuse it with old-time kind of group work. I remember those days too, being in a group of students and it was an equal workload and everybody get graded the same. That is absolutely not what we're doing. We're interested, and that was a great example, that video Ethan and Riley did, of some of the projects our students are working on. They're high quality, they're incredible opportunities to build their skills, to interact with people in the community, and to also build a resume and a portfolio of some great work samples as students start to think about what they want to do after high school. So again, feel free to jump in with a question. I'll kind of chit-chat for a few minutes if we have any. If not, we'll call it a wrap. And if you're watching this video after the fact, I've got my email in there. Please feel free to email me. I know there are a lot of moving parts to all of this. There are a lot of questions and concerns, and we're trying to do our best to make sure we provide you the information that you need.
Mary, I have a question. Where should Tri-County students wait for the Tri-County bus?
So good question. Where do Tri-County students wait to pick up the bus? Right out front. The bus is usually here right around 8 o'clock, and once they get to school, they should make their way right out to the front. And certainly while weather is permitting, we want students to wait outside on that curb. It's a much better situation the more we can get that fresh air. So wait, and I'm glad that where we're actually going to Tri-County. They have some great programs. And I've emphasized, I'm going to follow up on Tri-County too. It's a little bit confusing because if you have Tri-County, you are going every day that day occurs. So students are scheduled for either all-day A day or all-day B day. So whenever that A or B day happens on the calendar, no matter which group you're in, you're going to Tri-County that day. We'll smooth it out. I know it seems confusing. We'll have some people getting in the wrong place at the wrong time, but we'll get it squared around and get to a nice rhythm.
Mary, question, it's more about clubs. How will clubs be after school or during this year?
Sure. Again, really great question, and this is going to apply to any kind of extracurricular, co-curricular activity. So if it's an athletic team, which people have been following the news, is still, we're not sure yet whether there is going to be kind of a typical interscholastic season. If it's a drama club, a music club, a JROTC club, an academic club, I have asked all of our coaches, advisors, to run all the clubs and groups and teams that we normally do. Now, obviously, there may be some that can't look exactly like they used to, but we are going to do our best to do as much as we possibly can. And I encourage you to have your student join, even if it is just remotely. Those connections are powerful, and at some point we are going to get on the other side of this. So I want to keep those connections and activities going.
Another question, what is the biggest worry for returning back to school?
The biggest worry for returning back to school, I think lots of people have them. I mean, if you're asking me what my biggest worry is, I think keeping everybody healthy. I think that's what the real worry is doing what we need to do. And I know, there's been a lot of chatter about masks, and I have my mask and I'm going to wear them. I've been practicing kind of wearing them throughout the day. I don't think anybody wants to wear a mask, but it's what we need to do. And I want us to do whatever we need to do to be able to keep coming back to school and staying in school. And it's hand sanitizing, hand washing, staying home when you're sick. And so I think my worry is people maybe not just staying the course with us to do what we need to do. It's really important. I know some people think maybe this is foolish or much ado about nothing. But I just want to come to school, and if that's what we've got to do, and if I've got to put my mask on, I'm putting my mask on. We have hand sanitizers all throughout the building and classrooms, and we're coining a phrase when you go into a space, Sandy in, Sandy out. So get the hand sanitized. I think that's probably just my worry is, let's make sure we stay the course and just do what we need to do so we can have kids in school and get things rolling.
Mary, the calendar that was shared tonight is not the one that most people got in the mail. Will you be sending out new calendars?
That would be news to me if that one was different, because I used the one that was mailed out. So, I'll double check, but I know I pulled one that was sent and used that. So again, I'm not sure about kind of where that conflict is. If you can shoot me an email, like screenshot something so I can take a look at it, but as far as I know it is, but I will double check in the morning with the office staff. Yeah, those kinds of things worry me. Again, we're trying to strike a balance of not mailing too much stuff home, but if we need something to send something, we can definitely send you a copy, or I can email it to you too.
It may have been the schedules that went out, Mary, and not the calendars.
Oh,
so
so if you got a schedule, and then now you're seeing a different schedule online on Infinite Campus, absolutely that could have changed. You may have asked, but we've had, it's typical, sometimes we've had some late staff changes, and so we've had to shuffle around some courses. The other thing that we have to do, if you watched the presentation, you saw some of the pictures of the classrooms. We're so fortunate to be in this new building. The classrooms are good size, but when we've had a class that's gotten too big, we've had to move it. We didn't change the course, but for example, if you had English 10, period 2A, and that period was too big, we may have moved you to English 10, period 1B. And I can see kind of a question in there about masks and what they say. So yeah, it's school, so just like normal school clothes, we want you to wear appropriate things. Things on your mask need to be school appropriate too. We got enough going on. We don't need any foolishness, so help us out on that front.
So there will be no freshman only day this year, correct?
Correct. No freshman only day. Actually, since all the 8th graders were in the same building, we really hope to do a before school open house like this and do away with those freshman only days and just get going. The footprint on this side is very similar to the other side, and I think it's going to be okay starting because we're only going to have half our student body, not even half our student body in the building at any one day. And so for any 9th graders out there, it's okay. Your teachers are going to be gentle with you. We'll get that ball rolling.
A question about the daily health checks. How do they do that?
Sure. So that image should be on our website, and what we're doing is we're not asking people to turn in a piece of paper or fill out a form every day. And to be honest, it's the honor system. We're telling you these are the questions you need to review with your child. And it's kind of an easy little flow chart. It says if you have this, yes, you go to school. If you say no, then no, you don't go to school. And I think generally if your kid isn't feeling well, keep them home. We know there are some states, out-of-state travel is limited, and so if students are exposed to that or exposed to someone with even a suspected case of COVID, you stay home until you're sure. And so each day do that. And the big key is communicate with us. So if you know, hey, the other thing we know is going to happen, what happens normally when school starts, you get people together, you get a cold, the cold comes out or flu bug comes out. And so everybody's paranoid. You get a little cough and you think, oh, am I really sick? So you're looking, that communication with your primary care physician, and do these conditions go on for multiple days? Take the temperature at home. If it's, higher, if it's 100.4, that's a tipping point. Communicate with your doctor, and take their guidance, and let us know too. So we're not wondering what's going on, but please don't send your student to school if they're not feeling well.
Questions about bandanas as masks?
It's got to cover, I'm not the mask expert, and I really don't want to be mask police, but we're definitely going to monitor it. It needs to be close fitting around the jaw, and I think that's difficult with bandanas. And I know kind of this is, things change, and the guidance on even the neck gaiters that you pull up and down, that those aren't acceptable, and so it really should be something close fitting. I know lots of stores are selling them reasonable price. This logoed one, I've got a few coming, not for everybody, but maybe can sell for a few bucks, but we'll try to make sure. We also have some cotton, plain white cotton masks that we can give to students if they need another mask or a new mask.
If a child is sick, can they still do remote from home?
Please, yes. So if your kid is sick and it's their day to be in person, it's okay. They'll have the Meets link, jump online to their class so they can keep up with their work. We're hoping that's kind of the beauty of how this is going to work, but keep in mind, this is all new for us to ask our teachers to teach in person and live at the same time online. We know there are going to be some tech glitches. We've got a pretty tech-savvy staff, but be patient with us at home. But absolutely, if your kid needs to stay home because they don't feel well, they can join that class and keep right up to speed with the rest of their class. So I'm going to use my good teacher wait time. I'm going to wait a few more seconds to see if there's another question that comes up. I think be okay. This is more for our students who maybe are going to be remote and talk about, we do want your camera on. It's a little uncomfortable for some people. I was just saying to Matt Brown before, I've done a lot of warrior broadcasting. I've done a lot of assemblies and of school events where I'm on camera. But this is different, and it feels a little out of my comfort zone. Like, I am talking to you, but I'm just looking at a camera. And I feel a little silly, but it's okay, and it's a way we can really keep that connection going. So be brave, my warriors. I think lastly, we know how to do school. Our staff knows how to do school. Our students know how to do school. And you know what, parents, you know how to do school too. And we're moving in a good direction to get back to a more typical format of school, and I understand a lot of decisions parents need to make, and we want to work with you together and get through this. We know we're going to have some things that go really well and some things we're going to scratch our head over and have to revisit, but we'll stay on top of it. I think the lights are going down on me. Okay, so another question. So what if we're really sick at school? Do we still have to do the remote learning? So there are guidelines about if you do have COVID, you can get a test to determine whether you have it or not. Obviously if you're vomiting, we want you to stay at home. If that happens at school, that you become sick, so kind of right to my left here is where our snack shack kind of area credit union is. So part of all schools' plan is they have to have kind of a quiet space separate from the rest of the student body where you can keep students until the parents can come pick them up if they get sick during the day. And so that's what we're going to do right here. But I think communication with your doctor, if you are sick for multiple days in a row, if you have symptoms beyond 3 days, that's where you got to be talking to your doctor and getting a test, because you don't want to be passing anything on to other family members, and you definitely want to stay home. So I see that I'm at a little past 7 o'clock, so if someone's got another burning question, throw it out there. And as, again, I'm more than happy to answer your email. This time of year, the best way to get a hold of me is via email, because I'm out and about throughout the building during the day. I'm not necessarily sitting right by my phone, and I can check my email with me off my phone, and I try to get back to people as fast as I can. But you know what? Let's get excited. School is coming. I can't wait to see our warriors walk through the door. We're going to be ready for them, and we're going to work through it. Whether you're sitting at home, when you're coming in the building, you're a warrior, and I want you to get excited about getting back at school and connecting with your teachers and your classmates. So I hope you all have a great evening. Thanks for tuning in, and go Warriors!